When we moved from UK to Portugal, we brought Kitty, our cat, and our two dogs, Monty and Purdey. But what we didn't realise was that there was actually a whole pack waiting for us for when we got here. Today I'm sharing how our visitors became family, including the dog who nobody else wanted, and how one of them had an incredible way of making sure his best friend didn't miss out on a walk. Hi, I'm Helen and this is Helen's House and Garden. When we first got here, we noticed that there were two dogs and they were just hanging around. They weren't ours, but clearly they decided that we were quite interesting. And at first we didn't know their names, so we decided to call them and Dois, and that's Portuguese for 1 and 2. Was the brave one. He would always be waiting right outside our house, and he had this incredible rule. If Dois hadn't followed him down, as soon as we went out, he would bolt across the fields and run away, gather up Dois and bring him back. It was like nobody gets left behind, we're all going for a walk. And so then the walk began and off we went. They were regular, just like clockwork, and we thought they belonged to a neighbour, but that was no problem. We were happy enough to have them along for a walk, and Monty and Purdey got on really well with them. But then our world changed. Just 4 months after arriving here, Purdey suddenly became seriously ill and sadly died. We're absolutely devastated. Sometimes the world has an order, and as it happened, we had just been talking about adopting a third dog. So we decided that we'd continue our search, and then that's when we found Momo. Momo was 4.5 years old and had spent most of his life in the shelter. So I contacted them and asked if I could see him, but they told me that the next day somebody had arranged to visit him and adopt him. So I decided, let's go to the shelter anyway, because they had over 100 dogs looking for a new start in life and somebody to love and rescue them. When we arrived at the shelter, things had changed again, and Momo became available. Somebody had arranged to adopt him, but they just hadn't turned up. He'd been overlooked yet again. He was the dog that nobody seemed to want, yet he was everybody who helped us out at the shelter. He was their favourite dog, full of personality and such a sweet and gentle boy. So why wouldn't I want to see him? The moment Momo was let out, he came straight to me, and we just went off on a walk, took Monty, and the boys got on really well. And then we had some time in a playpen, letting Momo and Monty work each other out, seeing whether they would be a good fix and become brothers. And yes, they got on really well, so we adopted him there and then. Bringing Momo home obviously didn't replace Purdey, nothing ever could, but what he did bring was a new kind of joy. But what about and Dois? By now everybody in the neighbourhood had assumed that they were actually our dogs anyway. They were spending so much time on walks with us and hanging around the garden. But they'd always go home. Even if they went out and about during the day and between their visits, at night time they would disappear. Then the weather turned for the worst and we didn't see and Dois for about 4 weeks. And when they did show up, they were in a really sorry state. Horribly thin, starving hungry, dirty and full of ticks and fleas. So we just scooped them up, took them to our vet, and that's when we found out they didn't have a home. They were actually abandoned. So we legally adopted them there and then, but we found out their real names, Hercules and Janota. So all of a sudden, our pack of 2 became a pack of 4. Of course, Kitty Cat is the queen. She is 18 years old this July, and she likes to lead a solitary life. That's her choice. She loves sunbathing, comes down to the garden and supervises us as cats do, doing our gardening and jobs. And she loves playing with a ball in the basement, and that's normally at 6 o'clock in the morning. Keeping this pack safe is a full-time job, and I'm currently fencing an area at the back of the house on the patio so that they can have more space and be nice and secure. Beyond the patio, there's a large garden with mature fruit trees, and towards the back is where all the storm damaged trees are, which I'm still in the process of clearing. That's going to take some time. And also a chicken coop, which I'm hoping to restore and have chickens. But only this week I saw 2 mongooses walking across the garden directly to that chicken coop. So I'm going to have to make that a fortress. And busy growing vegetables and repairing the storm damaged house. It's all happening here. Building a new life in Portugal really hasn't gone as planned at all. But I'm so happy that Momo, Hercules and Janota, at the end of the day, adopted us. And I'm very happy that they've joined the family. And I'd love to know, has an animal ever chosen you? Have you been adopted by an animal? Because I certainly have. So if you're interested in life in Portugal, growing food so that you can cook delicious recipes in the kitchen, I'd love it if you'd follow me on my journey. And so hit me up with a like and subscribe. Right, I'm off to go and do some gardening. So for now, take care and I'll be seeing you.